And here's the book review with Andrew Schwartz. Listen, I'm sorry I'm late, but you see, this book is over 500. No one cares. Alright, fine. For the past few weeks, I've read a biography on Charles Schulz, written by David McCallis. Now, most of his readers say he was a man of mystery, and they wished they knew him. But Charles Schulz would remember and make sure he would say this before he died. If they've read the strip, they know me. Let me give you an idea of what his childhood was like. November 26, 1922, Charles Monroe Schulz was born. His parents were known as Carl and Dana Schulz. His parents were like loners. Carl Schulz was never fully involved in his family. His wife was the same, but closer to her Norwegian clan. His mother would never really be with anybody outside the family. Charles' nickname was Sparky because of his uncle's experience with cars. Sparky, from his relatives, thought of him as a doodler. He liked to draw all the time. He wouldn't remember the name of his kindergarten teacher, but he remembered what she said when he drew a picture on the first day of school. She said, "Sparky, you're going to be an artist." She was the first to recognize his ability. It would seem he had a good childhood. His father was a barber, where Sparky would meet his father every day after school at the barber shop, and his father would greet him with a slight smile and return back to work. Boy, that's depressing. He grew up in the Great Depression. During this time at the United States, Sparky's relationship with his father hindered. Carl Schulz had to work all the time to support the small family. Charles continued to grow up as a loner. He would never really make any friends, especially in high school. He didn't do well in school, but his parents never confronted him. He wanted a little attention, didn't get any. As he graduated high school, he was drafted into the military, but his life got more depressing. When he was being transferred, his mother died of cancer. Anyway, his life would be looking up. After weeks of military training, he moved up the ranks from private to sergeant. He knew how to use a machine gun. After returning from World War II, he got himself educated at art instruction and became an accomplished cartoonist. He tried and tried again. He was best at drawing children characters that would soon be owned by a syndicate. Little Folks started out in a couple of newspapers, but due to copyright, he had to change it to Peanuts. The syndicate suggested it, but Sparky flipped. He didn't like the name at all, but he had to settle for it. During his success, he had a few girlfriends, but he soon married Joyce Helverson on April 18, 1951. She was an adventurous, rough cookie. She did all the talking, house chores, and house maintenance. Oh yeah! And giving birth. The children's names in order were Charles Monroe Schulz Jr., Craig, Amy, and Jill. Meredith was from Joyce's previous marriage. But his marriage was falling apart as the kids grew up and Peanuts grew more successful, from TV specials to live plays. Both Joyce Schulz and Charles Schulz divorced and remarried. Sparky's life was moving on with a woman named Jean Forths Clyde. It was said this great cartoonist would never have his hand make a wasted motion. But as he grew older, blood clots were developing around his heart, and Sparky was suffering from strokes. On November of 1999, Sparky was diagnosed with advanced cancer. The Sunday paper, with his last comic strip, announced of him dying in his sleep, just hours before the final Peanuts strip appeared worldwide. He has left behind a legacy as one of the best artists who ever lived.